K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
I guess it helps if I don't accidentally mute myself. All right, so me trying to talk, take two. This is Rick Robinson. Of course, it's a couple minutes past the hour here, right here in beautiful downtown Oklahoma City. I'll be joined here in just a couple minutes by JD, host of Game On, as well as Bloody Marys and Broadsheets, and of course, former reformed Wall Street trader and also former stand-up comedian. So basically, all-around great, funny guy. He and I haven't had a chance to do a show alone yet, so we decided, hey, what the heck, today's the day we're going to make that happen. Before we bring him on, though, and before we take the customary opening show break, I do want to give a quick shout-out to the affiliates. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it may be that you're listening to us here. Want to give a shout-out to AMFM247.com. Want to give a shout-out to High Point Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, SHR Media, and, of course, as always, Red State Talk Radio and the home station right here, K98Talk.com, as well as the Spark Radio Network. So at this point, before we go any further, I do want to thank everybody for your support for Reed Mullins yesterday. Your acknowledgement of everybody's Facebook post that basically went up all over the state of Oklahoma asking for prayers and support for the family were amazing. Everywhere I looked, there was somebody saying, well, of course I'll pray for him. I know who he is. I've listened to him for forever. I do have some sad news in case you are not aware. He actually did pass away last evening. The Facebook outpouring again has been amazing. I never had a chance to actually meet Reed in person. We had planned on meeting at the Southern Republican Leadership Conference, finally, because we had been speaking through social media for several months. And unfortunately, he wasn't feeling well the day that we had everything set up to meet, so he never did actually make it. I know it's odd to consider somebody a friend who I've never actually met, but I spent a good formative part of my adulthood listening to him on stations like KTOK and 1520 AM and a few others. And it's just one of those things where, and then we started talking through social media, so honestly, even though I never had a chance to meet him in person, I honestly felt like he was somebody that I've known for a very long time. So I just want to give a quick nod of encouragement to the family. I know Mrs. Mullins is going through a really rough time right now, and I do hope that the Lord continues to comfort her. And I again want to thank everybody for the outpouring on Facebook, because there wasn't anywhere that you could go today on Facebook if you were anywhere near Oklahoma without seeing somebody pointing out what a great guy Reed Mullins was. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and take the obligatory got to pay the bills break for a couple minutes. And then when we get back, we'll have JD with me, and we'll talk, hang out for a while, maybe get a little serious, maybe not. We shall see. We'll be right back. All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history.
Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect just to admit a mistake. The payoff election gets to those on the take. Attorney General's lying even while
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks. Well, it is, again, just a little bit after 6 o'clock Central right here in beautiful downtown Oklahoma City. I am joined this evening by one of the co-hosts and host here at K98 Talk, JD. You may know him. I'm sure you do, especially if you follow JD and Stacey through their
Listen, buddy, listen, just because my top is most people's bottom, do not judge me, my good man.
Oh, there's no judgment here. You get your GP. dealt with, for the most part, other than maybe one or two, seem like they walk around with this ginormous certain thing shoved right up a very dark place. And I don't understand the concept.
I chose radio over television because you can do cocaine on radio and nobody knows it. So it's I'm just kidding, folks.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I'm more of a F fan myself. Tiny bear tricycle from the circus and bring this over to you. Do you need to run another commercial from some other home security system and talk about some other wonderful dead person to figure while we straighten this out?
So wait, you have a contract midget? Is Stacy aware that you have a contract midget? I thought she had a ban on you even mentioning the word midget.
You know, you have to understand. So I knew her when she was fun. I'm banned from talking about midgets on our show. But yes, I have a contract midget. I think everybody should have a See, my contract midget doubles though. He's a driver midget. He's a valet midget. He's a contract midget. Sometimes he's my motivational midget. You know those days when you just don't want to get out of bed. Sometimes they're like, "Hey JD, how you doing? You're looking fantastic. It's gonna be wonderful. Today we're gonna get rich." So I'm like, "Oh man, thanks, motivational midget."
Oh, so. I have completely lost my train of thought 5 minutes into the show. Oh my god, a motivational midget. That would be. Damn, where do I get one of those? I mean, come on.
Well, I'm a businessman as well, so I'm an Amazon affiliate. They don't advertise it, but I'll give you the link. I told you, the radio's the perfect medium for doing drugs.
Oh my god. Okay, so, we've already taken the show in a completely different direction than I expected to in the opening. So I have to admit, there was one part of your show that I actually caught a little bit of last night because I was having to bounce in and out of the chat and kept having to shut things down because I was having to work on signing my life away on this house that I'm trying to close on. But the one part of the show that I caught that really caught my attention was all of a sudden you started talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you had said that Sesame Street is going to start doing shows with HBO.
Oh, are they? This is what the best part about being in radio today is you don't have to make anything up. Because Sesame Street is going to bring you some... Yeah, baby. Going to have that boy and that oiny finally getting it on. Boy, yes, can oiny, baby.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Oiny be telling boy, baby.
3 simple words. I am gay.
And Oscar the Grouch's going to be looking for some...
vaginas.
Okay. What's the next topic, Rick?
Oh, my God. It's just... I mean, the scary thing is we had like an hour-long Twitter conversation over that entire thing, and it was just...
About puppet sex? Look at them. Look, Stacey and I on our show Game On, and even Bloody Marys and Broadsheets, when it gets down to the base and the core of who we are, we call ourselves liberservative conservatarians. I don't judge. I don't care who you're marrying, who you're banging, what you're doing, what the horse's name is, how many there are. I don't care. So long as you and yours are happy and you're not affecting me and mine, God bless. So yes, you know what it is? The Black Lives Matter crowd. The Black Lives Matter crowd. We all know them. We have a theme for them on our show. This is the theme for the Black Lives Matter crowd. That's right, baby. You got the Black Lives Matters crowd, okay, that is more confused than Jews for Jesus. All right? They have started the biggest intra-party brawl you have ever seen on the left-hand side of the aisle. So, yes, I find that Stacey and I like to bring these effects to kind of make a point. So,
well, all right. But, yeah.
We can find a whole show back and forth in one if you like.
No, that's all right. Okay, so, it's interesting that you bring up the Black Lives Matter crowd because, there's some interesting connections coming out about those Black Lives Matter folks. That a lot of the folks that are in the upper echelons of it were also involved in the Occupy Wall Street movement, and they all seem to have communist connections in one form or another, which kind of makes you wonder what their real motivation is.
The real motivation is simple. The real motivation is the same as it ever was. Rick, this goes back to, and everybody in the audience, and I was kidding around at the beginning of the show, but to make a serious point, and this is so easily Googleable, whatever the kids call it, the Infacto box. Go look at the covers of Time magazine and the stories from Time magazine in the 70s about the next coming ice age. And what I find fascinating about them is that the policy prescriptions for that coming ice age, of which, of course, the United States, the great Satan, was responsible for, according to the progressives, are the same exact policy prescriptions that the global warming climate change crowd is advocating now. Why am I equating this with Black Lives Matters? Because right now, Black Lives Matters, it's the term du jour. It's like whether you want to call it ISIS or whether you want to call it ISIL or whether you want to call it Al-Qaeda. This is the same hymnal the progressive left has been singing off of and selling to the African-American community for over the last 50 years. For all us great conservative racists out there, I had my hood starched and clean today. I made sure the eyes were cut out so I could see what was going on. I got fresh gasoline for my cross like the rest of us conservatives, Rick. It was Lyndon Baines Johnson who, when the tapes were released, you can start listening to, had some very brutal racist language about how they were going to lock in the African-American voting bloc back in the 1960s. If you take a look at the people who are leading that movement, and as you say, you trace it back to Occupy, and you trace it back to communism. This is not some granular generic movement that popped up because the sainted Michael Brown was on his way to cure cancer with a God's gift while he was changing attire from a bus full of blind nuns with cancer in the rain. No, this is the professional left. This is the same professional left that was at work 50 years ago. This is the same professional left that was at work 100 years ago when you go back to Woodrow Wilson. The problem with conservatives and people on the right and people like you and I and libertarians and people who are of like-minded, we are so busy living our life, Rick, that we do not look at political battles and struggles in 25, 50, and 100-year terms. Do you want to know why? Because the difference between us and the Black Lives Matter crew and the rest of the professional left is that politics is their religion. It is their faith and family. So for us, we're going around being productive, getting married, loving our family, living our lives. I was just down in Georgia at the Red State Convention with Stacey. I had a fantastic time. But the professional left has not stopped for the last 100 years being engaged in a war against ideas, not of ideas. And I think that that's where people on the right get confused and miss that. Because everybody's got their head down the right, living their life, and pop up and, the immigration's a problem. Okay, let's immigrate. Oh, then another fire popped up culturally. Oh, it's a gay marriage. Okay, yeah, I don't care, gay marriage. Oh, wow, this tax thing is where the right looks at it as a one-off all the time. This is a concerted movement by the left, a war, if you will, that has been going on for over 100 years. So, no, it doesn't surprise me at all that anybody in that movement is going to have tangential ties at best to the professional left groups.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, the professional progressives seem like they're playing a long game while the conservatives are kind of treating everything as a one-off. Because I've been saying now for about as long as I've been doing any type of either social media or radio work that it's almost like you've got the professional left and they're playing a chess game, and the conservatives are running around playing checker games because they're focusing on just one issue at a time. And it's, this is bad, so we need to fix that. And then, but the whole time that we're kind of coming up and It almost reminds me of a game of whack-a-mole. There's really not any other better way to put it. We pop out of a hole, we realize something's going on that we need to worry about. We focus on that until it's either resolved or until we keep screaming about it until something happens. But then we go back to doing what we do, and then we've still got these professional folks over here on the other side that are like, oh, well, they got us this time, but they don't know what we're doing over here. And it's like they're just they're so focused in on it, and it's right. You're right. We're going about our daily lives all day, every day, and it's really all we ever do until something gets our attention, and then it's like, oh, and then we either fix it or we don't, and then eventually we go back to not paying attention again. And that's one of the things that's been driving me crazy now for the last couple of decades. Is it seems like that is actually getting much worse.
Well, I think that the best analogy to it is a sports analogy. Anybody who's ever played sports has heard the term. Are you hurt or are you injured? And the answers to those questions are very simple. If you are hurt, you go out there and you keep playing. Now, continuing to play hurt could mean that you will become permanently injured, but there's a difference. If you're injured, you are done. You take yourself out of the game and you have a chance of losing your rotation. And I think that that's where the right looks at it. Hey, folks, do you think the country is hurt or the country is injured? Because I'm a pretty positive cat, and I think that we have survived a lot. Do I think the end of the world is coming? No, not necessarily. Back in the late 1960s, you had the National Guard and military with sandbags and M60s in front of national monuments in D.C. There were literal race riots in the street. Is Ferguson a mess? Yes, it is. Are other places probably going to explode? Yes, they are. Is the entirety of the black community burning down serially like it did in the 60s? No, it isn't. So as somebody who can be, a bit of positive about it, my concern is, are people on the right build? Are people on the right build to concertedly continue an effort and understand that this is multi-generational and that you really do have to go with your guts and your instincts. And look, there's Miss Right and there's Miss Right now. And I think that for a long time, conservatives have been hoodwinked into the afternoon Asian hooker special instead of actually taking home to mom and dad the candidate that they wanted. And you want to know what? They got what they deserved. They woke up with Asian hooker VD. Romney is herpes, and McCain's got to be like AIDS. He just is some weird strain of disease I've never seen. Bob Dole, I don't really want to tag as a venereal disease because he's a hero, but you follow my thought process.
Yeah, and it's disturbing as always, but it does make sense. It's interesting that you kind of went all the way back to the 60s, because, 60s, 70s, that was when all this, the global warming, global cooling, and all that fun stuff started rearing its ugly head. And as you know, at one point or another, Mr. Al Gore basically became the father of climate change. I don't know if you're aware, but apparently there are some rumors swirling that he is considering throwing his hat in the ring for 2016.
Al Gore is the father of size 54 pants. Okay, that's what Al Gore is the author of. Al Gore is one of the most detestable, hypocritical, scumbag individuals I have ever seen enter politics. You guys want to have some racial fun. You want to have some racial fun. You want to have some real.
Hey, where are the white women at?
You really want to get the Black Lives Matters group confused? Go check out the old man, Mr. Not Al Gore, Mr. Older Al Gore. And you check out the rest of that Gore family that was down there in that Tennessee for quite some time. Quite some time they were down there. I believe if you go deep enough in the record, they hold some awful, awful, awful beliefs. So I don't want to hear about Al Gore. I don't want to hear about a man who has told the rest of us that we can't wipe our ass with anything more than one-ply recycled toilet paper the size of a postage stamp that feels like Where does this balloon-sized party float live? He lives in a mansion, not just one, several. How does he get around this big bobble-headed jackass in a private jet? So please, do me a favor, Al Gore. For the love of God, baby Jesus, and the little canoe they're floating down the river in, run. File your papers. Get in with the DNC because I haven't even started on him selling this do nothing, go nowhere. Let me tell you something. Give it to Al Gore because for some jerkbag progressive, he is a hell of a businessman. He sold a failing, no viewership, make no money television station to the Durkers. And for the people who don't watch my show, the Durkers are...
Oh, Durka.
That's right. The whole Al Jazeera crew for 9 figures. And now he goes and he eats foie gras off of flight attendants' asses in private jets. So please, Al Gore, do us all a favor and run for president. You think we're going to have fun with Hillary? Let this jerk off run.
You know, there's a reason I brought that up. One, I figured that would be exactly what you would wind up doing. Is just kind of going off on a tangent with it, which was awesome, just for the record. But, I'm just thinking, at this point, Trump may become old news because we're talking about Biden and possibly Clinton and possibly Al Gore all being in the same Democratic run. That is the trifecta of talk show gold. I'm just saying.
But back to your point of what you were saying in the beginning, and it's one of the reasons I find it disheartening when you see such a circular firing squad on the left. This is politics, folks. This isn't rocket surgery. We are so early in the process. If your guy or gal is at the top of the pack, you shouldn't be doing cartwheels. And if your guy and girl's at the bottom of the pack, you shouldn't be doing sad face about to hang yourself from the chandelier. The election is in November of 2016. In politics, that is 400 lifetimes. Do you know how much time is left for one of these idiots to get caught with either a dead girl or a live boy? Plenty. So
don't forget about playing footsie under a bathroom stall.
Oh my God,
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Let me tell you something. I hold it now through the entirety of all of my flights. I can't. But it just, the front running this early bothers me, and I see it from smart people. There is no purist candidate out there. Listen to what people have to say. They're going to ebb and they're going to flow. And right now, people, look at it this way. I mean, you should be heartened about this. Anybody who isn't a Donald Trump supporter, take a look at the candidates who are rising in the polls. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, is going to make everybody else on the right a better candidate. They are. Whether it's Trump himself or whether it's somebody else, this primary, I don't think is a clown show. I don't think is a circus. And I think is going to make whoever emerges as the eventual nominee damn strong. And if it is, she is a weak retail politician. She never gets pushback. She get killed in a debate. And if she has the problems that people are speculating that she'll have, then the last-minute replacement to come into this race isn't going to have gone through nearly the grinder that the Republican nominee has. So to my mind, bring it on. If it's so much jackassery and clown show and buffoonishness, it'll show itself for what it is. At some point, people have to put their cards on the table. But just remember, kids, boo-boo is the enemy. Hillary is the enemy. The progressive left is the enemy, not each other.
Yeah, I think I don't know. One of the things that drives me crazy is we used to have all these labels coming from the left. Now we have labels coming from the right. This stupid term that's been going on for the last few weeks called, I don't even know how to say it. I guess it's cuckservative.
I guess so, but call it what you want. To me, one look at the ass bags that are doing it, to me disqualifies the rest of what they have to say. I have yet to see a rational person associate that term with anything. Now, if you have a Charles C.W. Cook type of somebody who wants to come to me and have a rational conversation and drop this term in it and tell me why it means something, then fine. But I think we're getting too caught up in this nonsense. Here's another. Listen, you don't like the term? Here's another term for that person. Jerk off, ass bag, skell, whatever you want to call it. But enough and on with the next. Onward and upward. Forget about these morons. Because anybody who's running around and trying to apply a derogatory term to another conservative because they don't subscribe to either their candidate or their brand of conservatism, listen, forget about it. I'm not going to be somebody to sit here and say you are or you're not conservative. You're not a serious political person. Our Constitution, unfortunately, gives you and the other great unwashed morons the right to vote, but you're not a serious person. So can I prevent you from voting? No. Will I say that you are not a conservative? No. But I can sit here and dismiss your opinion because you're a jackass.
Yeah, no, and I the reason I guess I was bringing that up is, you have all of these folks that as soon as they figure out that somebody disagrees with them on one issue, that's the term they throw around now. I don't know if the folks know this or not that came up with this stupid term, but there's something that and this all started from the folks that are like pro-Trump. Anybody that's not Trump or Trump-servative basically is now a cuck-servative. Well, Trump was actually retweeted and mentioned saying something I think it was a couple of days ago, that if it came down to it, by the time everything was over, he could see himself supporting Bush as the nominee. Which kind of surprises me, for one, but it just seems like at some point he may even himself start being called the term that was basically coined for the people that disagreed with him in the first place, just because of that one statement. I thought that was kind of ironic.
And it's not just you, because this Fox News, the moderators fell into this, and I think every moderator is going to fall into it, and I keep seeing it in the media. Who in the hell cares if Donald Trump is going to pledge to or to not run third party, to or to not support the Republican candidate? Folks, the man is worth $10 billion, okay? It is a completely uncharted territory. So whether it takes 30 seconds to ask the question and 5 minutes for everybody to answer, or 40 seconds for this moron to raise his hand and not raise his hand, you're giving him what he wants. Voters want specifics. Let them try to get that out of him. But I think thinking about third party or anything else is nothing but it's a waste of time. It's mental masturbation, because nobody knows. I don't think he could tell you right now what he is or is not going to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not attacking or going off on Donald Trump. I'm somebody sitting here waiting to hear what he honestly has to say. If Trump comes out and he goes, I have spent 9 of my $10 billion corralling the smartest people on the planet to be agreed to get locked in a room to be fed Cheerios until this issue's fixed, this issue's fixed, this issue's fixed, this issue's fixed. Fine. Right now, what do I see personally? A bored billionaire who's doing some self-promotion. And that's not attacking a candidate. Because anybody out there who supports it, I'd like to hear what his deeper policy plans are. And really, politically, right now, he doesn't have to disclose them. He shouldn't. He's at 30-something% in the polls. But to everybody else who wants another candidate to break through, if you cannot break through and pass Donald Trump, you cannot break through and pass the mainstream media. You cannot talk through and over the lens directly to the American people, and you will be a failure on the world stage.
My God, are you still talking?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to. Anyway, the reason I brought that up, and now I actually forgot why I brought it up, but that's actually a good point for us to go ahead and take a break anyway. So we're going to take a break real quick, folks. Going to pay some more bills. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the show.
I'm going to do some more blow.
You go right ahead. I think you might need some more.
Look at it.
All right, folks. We'll be back here in just a couple minutes for this train wreck that is the America Off the Rails show.
Woohoo!
Red Nation Rising brings you Town Hall Radio.
From a single tweet to 3 million a month, our community is a force to be reckoned with on social media.
So don't miss our show, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Our chat room is our co-host, and you ask the question.
Join us and be heard.
So get ready to sound off on Red Nation Rising Radio. No one else is going to do it for you.
times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
K98Talk.com, a leader in Internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98Talk.com.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members, of their families or their children, asking them to deploy, patrol, stay on watch, on point, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to bring them all the way home, to keep them secure, to have their backs for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs do whatever it takes to help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Find out how you can help at findwwp.org.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of conservative conservatarians.
Where no one is safe, no one is spared, not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola
anyway.
radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote.
Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. We're into the bottom half of the show already. Where does the time go? Of course, when you're doing Stream of Conscious Radio, who knows? All right, so we've kind of been all over the place today. I do want to get to at least one serious topic because this is something that I've been talking about for a while. When all of this Black Lives Matter crap started and all of these cops started getting pulled out of the woodwork and everybody started questioning every single thing they did, I told you guys, starting a little over a year ago, that at some point we were going to get to the point where police officers were hesitating in the line of duty and it was going to result in someone being seriously injured or killed. It has finally happened in Birmingham, Alabama. There's an officer who shall remain nameless who is doing what the media likes to call a routine traffic stop. I'm here to tell you there's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. When he tried to start questioning the subject, basically, he had the subject get out of the car. He was patting him down because of some odor emanating and some other situations that were going on in the car. In the middle of the pat-down search, the subject basically sucker-punched the officer, took his weapon because the officer hesitated in drawing the weapon because it was a white officer and a black suspect, and then proceeded to pistol whip the officer to the point where he was unconscious. The subject eventually has now been arrested and charged with first-degree attempted murder of a police officer, but the officer himself, last report, was still in critical condition. This is a much larger problem than anybody is willing to talk about, and I have to tell you, it's only going to get worse if we don't put common sense first in the country at this point, because this is crazy.
Let me do you one better. I'm sure nobody could tell from my accent. I am a lifelong New Yorker. From the New York Post today, from this morning, the East Coast head of the Bloods gang, who wounded a firefighter after torching his own Staten Island house Friday morning during a confrontation with U.S. Marshals, was dead after a gunfight with cops, law enforcement sources said. To my mind, there are two things going on. And I think this goes back to my contention that the left replaces a lot of what is important in life, family, faith, what have you, with politics. Because the left is concerned about political end. And stoking racial fires or selling a narrative to a community. You want to have a conversation that'll get us drummed off the air and I mean called racist, right, left, and center? Let me ask you a question. Why is it that in certain areas and in certain communities in this country, the value of life is cheaper than it is in my home and in your home? I want to ask this question again so nobody misunderstands me. Why are there areas in this country and communities where the value of life is cheaper than it is in my home and it is in your home? And that's the question that needs to be asked, because that's where we have failed. Because 50 years of the war on poverty and government programs and destruction of the family has not worked. And now we're allowing the same group who has destroyed that community, the Democratic Party, go back to Lyndon Baines Johnson's own racist rhetoric. It's things like that Hillary was hiding the emails, those tapes that came back, when he talked about the Great Society, and he talked about social programs, and he talked about the destruction of the family in a very racist way in order that the end game was votes. We're allowing the same people, progressives, to drive a narrative into that same community that white police officers are serially assassinating young people of color. Rick, if we stand still and stand by the same way that we did and allowed the left and those policies to run roughshod over and destroy those communities. And for any of you liberal ass bags out there that go, oh, yeah, it's specifics. Okay. Detroit, I'll pay for your ticket to go there. West Baltimore, I'll pay for your ticket to go there. The North, South, East, and West Bronx, I'll pay for your ticket to go there. East New York, I'll pay for your ticket to go there. We don't have enough airtime to go through the Democrat progressive run only cities in the state of California alone. So until this goes back to the segment before, that we realize that this really is a fight. Rick, as much as we sit here and bitch about it, we are still standing idly by and watching policies and a political ideology destroy an entire segment and community of society. And until conservatives are not concerned about being called racists for bringing something up, I think that's going to continue to happen.
No, I completely agree. A couple of points of order. One, it's going to be hard for us to get removed from the air since I own the network, just for the record.
With this crowd, don't put it past them. Remember, Rick, you didn't build this. Obama and Stedman and Valerie Jarrett built K98 and the rest of the bobbleheaded jerk-offs.
Yeah, well, they there's no nice way to say this either, so they can all suck it. Anyway, back to another point. You'd mentioned that there's not enough airtime. Everything behind us is a pre-record, brother. We could run for 5 hours if you really, really want to. I'm just saying. Not that we're gonna, but we could.
Hey, terrific.
Listen. You know what? Let's start picking characters. We can do an hour on McConnell. Hold on.
You done it again.
We can do an hour on Lindsey Graham.
Tell me that score.
I know what boys like. I know.
Oh, we would have people that would be laughing and wanting to kill us all at the same time. It would be hilarious.
Listen, I have people that take numbers to have me killed. My co-host, Stacy Lennox of @ScottsFire, FYRE on Twitter, who you can find with me every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday nights again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show Game On. And don't forget about us Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Baby, for them Bloody Marys and broadsheets. You'll kill your mainstream media hangover. I told you I take mescaline when I do this, Rick.
Well, why aren't you sharing? That's my question.
Because I can't push it through a mic. Well, once I took so, well, okay. Anyway.
Well, you see, what had happened was, all right, so, you know.
What?
No, I mean, you know, and as much as we're trying to have fun right now, I that was actually the one story that just went all through me, because it's exactly what I knew was going to happen at some point with all of this stupidness. And the simplest part of this is, and I understand there are cops that should not wear uniforms. I understand there are cops that should not be detectives, and we hear stories about them every single day. But what I don't like is the fact that as soon as one cop does something that the media thinks is stupid, all of a sudden all the cops are bad. Because I spent a lot of time wearing a uniform, and I understand what they go through every day. And there is no such thing as a routine traffic stop. No situation when you're in a uniform, when you're dealing with the public the way they have to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a job that never ends. That's what most people don't even take into account. Most of us, we go to work for 8 hours, we come home, that's it. If you're a police officer, you are technically always on the job if you are in public. The only time you are technically off is if you are in your home. If something happens and you fail to respond, even if you are in plain clothes, then it can cost you your job. That's the way the job works. It never stops. And that's something else that people need to think about, because when you have somebody who is constantly on their guard 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you think battle fatigue is hard. Think about doing that job 365 days a year for 20 years and never being able to turn off unless you're in your home. I've been out of that line of work for 9 years. Whether it's public sector, private sector, any of the above, I haven't done any of that in 9 years. I still, to this day, even if I don't have my weapon, I will not, because I cannot put my back to a door, because it's ingrained in me. It's stuff that you cannot turn off. And people do not take that into account. And now we have this entire group of people that are telling you, oh, you don't need guns because you have police officers. Now they're attacking the police officers. What is their end game?
The end game is very simple. I mean, you know, nobody gets to choose the times they live in. All right, we live at a crossroads. We live at a crossroads of what kind of country this is going to continue to be, Rick. I mean, it really is just that simple. The country is breaking down into people that respect authority and people who do not. And at some point, one of those two sides has to give. I come from a big law enforcement, friends and family background. I mean, you know, there wasn't enough time to go to the memorials of friends that were lost on 9/11. And most people, like you said, do not understand what an average policeman goes through. But the bigger problem is, Rick, we used to be at a societal point where at least people respected the authority. We are in and this is the point, Stacey, and I keep driving home on the radio show. We are at this crossroads because your politicians and your faith leaders and your moral leaders and your entertainers and your sports leaders, for the last several decades, all the people in any kind of leadership position has let you down. Has let you down. And it has people questioning whether or not that kind of country still exists. So you have this questioning of authority. And it really is until we get to a point that, you know, we used to be a country of laws. But if you take a look at the way the executive branch is being run now, the way the Department of Justice is being run now, we are no longer a country of laws. So you have these leaders in society who have been telling society for decades, Rick, that we can have it both ways. You can make $180,000 a year as a public sector employee. You can retire at 40 years old, and you can have great benefits, and nothing will happen. We can get involved in certain things in the Middle East, will have cheap oil and they'll love us for getting rid of dictators. I don't care whether it's the Catholic Church, what it is. People have been lied to and lied to and lied to and serially be led to believe over decades that they can have it all. They think that they can have the safety that the police provide without the respect a normal society has in order for them to provide it safely. Because without these officers, we're done for, Rick.
No, and I completely agree. But that's something to keep in mind as well, because you're right. Without these officers, we're done. But how many of them are hesitating in the line of duty now? How many of them know what it is that they need to do, but they're afraid to do it? Because
you want to know? I'm going to tell you something. I hear what you're saying, Rick, but I know a lot of cops, and I know a lot of cops' families, and this is the price that society is going to pay for this. Yes, there are going to be some of them that are going to be killed, but there are going to be more average citizens in this country who are not protected because these cops are not going to bother hesitating, Rick. They're going to stop at yellow lights. They're going to call in sick. There is a difference between proactive and reactive policing, okay? Cops are not Supermen, and they're not bulletproof. They're just people who do a job. So if you tell a cop who goes into a community night in, night out, day in, day out, to protect the people of that community, to protect the interest, to protect the business, to make sure that there's some modicum of safety, if you're going to tell him that anytime he blinks, somebody's going to cut his throat or shoot him in the head, you know what he's going to do? He's not going to get there to stop shootings. He's going to drive slowly to clean up murders. So my biggest fear is, yes, we're going to lose more law enforcement officers to this. We're going to lose greater segments of society because the great men and women who are in law enforcement are not going to want to go into these jobs. And who can blame them? I remember when I was a kid, when kids would walk up to cops. They want to see their badge, their gun, their this, their that. Now the mayor of New York, no more privileged guy he, is telling one of the most privileged children in the country, his own son Dante, that he has to be careful of what, to my mind, is the most professional and best damn police force in the country, if not the world. And that's what I mean about people being failed by their leadership. Because it's this kind of nonsense that's feeding into the narrative or the meme that you don't have to respect authority or police officers. And you're right, Rick, it's going to get a lot of people killed.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually where I was about to go with it. It'll start by officers hesitating, but what's going to happen is when they start being hurt or worse, you're going to have blue flu everywhere. They're just going to be like, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. Or, hey, and exactly like you said, yeah, my lights are on, but I'm still stopping at every yellow light. I'm going to do 5 miles an hour because it's easier for me to go clean up a mess than it is to get shot or worse. And I think that is in itself a very large problem because, again, you have this entire segment of the population that says, hey, we don't need people with guns because we have a police force and we have laws to protect people. And the simple fact of the matter is, and this is the same thing, and for some reason I lose them when I make this argument, but to my mind, the argument they make when they say, yeah, you don't need a gun because we have cops. Well, I'm not planning on a fire being in my kitchen, but I still have a fire extinguisher within reach. Why would I mean, by your logic, I should just dial 911 and wait for the fire department to get there.
I want you to think about seriously where that comes out of, right? So that's a very big media and leftist, elitist-driven meme. And where is the media and the elitist left mostly out of? They're out of New York, D.C., Los Angeles, and Chicago. What do you have in New York, D.C., Los Angeles, and Chicago that you do not have in 99% of the country? A police force that, all right, in New York City, this is such a disconnect for people who have never been there. The reason that you hear some elitist media person who's never left Manhattan speak about, well, we have police officers, so why should people have guns? You cannot. I'm not kidding about this, folks. The reason that crime is down so much in New York City's huge. There are cops everywhere. If a guy pulls out a gun on a street corner in New York City, somebody, hey, cop, and there's a cop with a gun. So it's such a different presentism that these elitists are living in their bubble that they do not understand that, yes, in this very same state of New York, in less than a 3 hours drive outside the city, there are areas that are covered by the state police that you might not have the response time for an hour. So to all you elitists in major cities who depend on your major urban city police departments, I am not putting my life or my family member's life who doesn't live by you in one of those large metropolitan areas and anybody else's hands except two very good friends of mine, Smith and Wesson.
Interesting that you mentioned Smith & Wesson. I actually still have my service weapon that shall remain nameless because nobody knows where I keep it, but it is a Smith & Wesson.
I got a name for my thing. Oh, are we talking about guns?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could talk about...
I'm talking about my Winky again.
Well, if you name it Winky, you might... Never mind.
No. Wait a minute. You know what? I haven't had to bring this out in a while. Where the hell is it? Now I'm not going to... You're getting an inappropriate fellow now, Rick.
Is that the call from HR calling me into the office? Is that what that was?
Perfect. You better be careful. Stacy's HR. I think we're both fired after this.
Probably. And she's going to listen to this for like 5 seconds and go, you guys are never doing this again.
Dog, man. You're welcome to that Ron Jeremy radio, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to listen to 5 minutes of this episode and be like, yeah, you guys are not allowed to play alone ever again.
Oh, she listens to enough of my nonsense on a daily basis that I am sure any opportunity she has to tune me out, she does. I would if I was her.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What was that last part?
Shut up.
All right, well, we are getting down to the end of the show. Why don't you go ahead and remind folks of where it is they can find you should they choose to interact with you and all that fun stuff.
You can find me in my day job in the Amtrak restroom. You can find Stacy and I very blessedly here at K98 Talk. Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. for Game On, when no one is safe, no one is spared. We're live again Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time here for Game On. And then Sunday morning, baby, we shift gears a little bit, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that Bloody Marys and Broadsheets, baby, your cure for that mainstream media hangover. And I will tell you something, all kidding aside, she has a burgeoning business that is just up and coming. She actually has a new radio show about to be coming with another very conservative voice in the movement, and that is my co-host, Stacey Lennox. If you are on social media, please find her on Facebook at Stacey Lennox. Find her at Twitter at Scottsfire, SCOTSFYRE. I'm not just saying because she's my co-host and my friend. She's not just one of the smartest political female voices out there. She's one of the smartest political voices out there. She makes my job very easy, and I'm a very lucky man to be here at K98 and have a co-host like Stacey.
Yeah, she is a rock star. I'm not sure how she puts up with you, but she is a rock star.
I told you, Rick, I roofie the coffee every morning. Good morning, roofie.
All right. Well, in case anybody new is tuned in, I, of course, am Rick Robinson, the resident guy you can hear here at 7 Eastern every night, Monday through Friday on America Off the Rails. The show is also picked up both terrestrially and on other digital media networks. We gave a shout-out at the beginning of the show. And, of course, you can follow me on double_R_OKC on Twitter. Of course, you can also follow me on Facebook on my professional Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/RowdyWiki Robinson. No, you're not getting my personal one unless I know you, but you can always send me a friend request over there. We'll talk, we'll hang out, we'll chat. It'll be good times. All right, so that's going to do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails, folks. I will be back with you not tomorrow, at least not for America Off the Rails. I'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning on Finding Common Ground.
We will keep this promise.
Hang on, I guess it helps if I grab the right one. The show where Bryson...
Do you go to bad radio school?
The show where Bryce and I go toe-to-toe every Saturday morning, and now my mixer is acting up.
End of the boat, Rick. Just...
You're killing me, Smalls. My mixer's acting up. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode. I'll be back with you. Don't forget, right up just after this one ends, we've got the video and the video radio show. And then Garrett, yeah. I give up. I'm going home.
You're from Oklahoma. It's Vital and Vital.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
When our water heater broke down Nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.